Hey folks, today we're going to be installing a central vac into this 2002 Itasca Sun Cruiser. You may have seen some other videos on YouTube showing you how to install one of these systems. Those were done by professionals who knew what they were doing. This one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing this, never having done this before, pretty new to RVing, so this should get a little interesting. This is what we're installing here. The Dirt Devil CV 1500. Our goal is to install it right here under the sink. Thank you. Right down here. And voila, through the magic of YouTube, the cabinet is now empty. As you can see in here, this is where we want to try to install it up here.
So we could mount it.
Yeah, you could definitely get to the bag there.
Back here, the cord will reach up to where it needs to go.
This thing would have to come around, and then back here. Do you think that's too tight of a corner? Or, I don't know, in some of the videos I saw it did just that.
It could come out the top as well, but then you'd have to mount it to the back wall instead.
Right.
And then we have to be able to, obviously, put the cover on.
Right. Why don't we put the tube on there and see how it looks?
Sounds good. Is there some sort of
squeeze in there? Alright, hold on, let me look at the instructions.
I think we have some screws on.
Okay, we have located the instructions, and it does look like this screws on there. This looks like this. There's another one I think that goes to the outlet.
So if you look inside, you can see that this is somewhat threaded in the same manner that this is. So I was able to screw it onto there. I'm going the right way. Wrong way.
Oh.
It's kind of backwards. It's lefty-tighty instead of righty-tighty. So there we go.
Nut fits in there?
And, nope.
Oh, maybe does that come out? Does this part come out?
Fail. Time to resort back to the instructions.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that just went in there. Please hold. Okay, so this part does come off. That part does come off of there. So once we got that off, it slipped right down there. And it does say in the instructions, if we would have read the instructions, to glue if necessary. And so that may be necessary once we get it in there. Just checking it out. Okay. So let's put it in there. We're probably going to end up cutting that hose because that hose is pretty long. What do you think?
Well, I think we should think a little bit more about where the vent is and how easy it's going to be to get to change the bag. The vent is on the top, which seems totally fine to me. And if it's in this position, we need to push it all the way that way so that we could screw it to the outside vertical wall.
Right.
So if it's sitting there, and we need to...
Do you want to attempt to change the bag?
I think it would simply go like that.
That's not too bad.
So not too bad. Let's work with that. We should make sure we get it where we want it, mark the holes, and...
Well, it says the very last thing you should do is screw it in.
That probably makes sense.
Yeah. So I think we should check out where we're going to put it, how we're going to put it through here on the outside. We've got this thing that we need to mount on the outside, and so we're putting the hose through. You want to show how that's... Luckily, we already had these little holes there that were there from a previous installation of a little Dirt Devil handheld. So that's going to go on there like that.
this wire that needs to connect to this switch, because the way it works is when you open the door, it automatically turns on. When you shut, based on this little toggle switch here. So we need to wire that switch to the unit. Basically using this to extend these little wires that come out of the main unit.
Okay, so we found the wire nuts. I believe it doesn't matter which goes with which.
Being that it's low voltage, I don't believe that it does.
Okay. Alrighty. So then we're going to need to wire that to the thing on the outside, but we've got this gap in here, and that is going to cause us some problems. So yeah, that is supposed to go there, and there's a space of about a 1/4 inch or an inch and a half that it's just not going to match up. So what we've decided to do while we were looking for the wire nuts is take off this little panel here and mount that plate on the back.
So now we're thinking this will be a little better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll totally work. That was good thinking there.
Alright.
Okay, so we have this back on, screwed on, and as you can see here, kind of see, it's a little dark. We're hoping that we're going to be able to fit those wires through that little hole. We have fished through the wire from there. Do we want to
leave a little service loop and then maybe cut the rest off?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's get our wire cutters. Okay, so we cut the wire and stripped it using some standard wire strippers. It turned out as 18 gauge wire, in case you're wondering. So the instructions say push it in there and then give it a tug to ensure that it is fully secured. Give it a little tug. Sweet.
Seems secure to me.
Alright. Now,
we may want to not mount the panel until we know it actually works power-wise. So
that might be a good idea.
in case we need to access this again. So
it's not too bad of an idea.
I think we can probably plug it
hose
in to the outlet. And
just without the hose on.
Just try it and see if it turns on.
Let's give it a go. I'm gonna go back here and plug her in. Alright. Here goes the test. Nothing happened.
Fail. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Whoa! Hey! Alright, turn it off!
A little delayed reaction in the switch there, so okay.
That's
but
alright.
It turns on.
That sucked.
In a good way.
Right? Yeah, that was corny.
So I think we're safe to mount this panel back in.
I think we are. So I think the next thing is to cut this hose to size and connect it in the back. Very exciting. So we had to take the entire panel back out because this little jobber did not fit through the hole. So we took it out and we'll put it back on. We had to loosen that faceplate up again so that we could,
these little tabs need to line up with the little tabs in this metal plate.
And you push on it really hard.
Push on it to get it in there, and you can kind of give it a little bit of a twist, and it keeps it from coming out.
Turn. Alright, now we're going to put that back through. So on the one that we got, you can see these little tabs that are supposed to screw to the wall. they're all cattywampus. They're all bent, so I'm just going to give them a little adjustment so that it'll go flat against the wall. That is definitely not in the manufacturer's video.
How's that look?
Looks pretty good. Alright,
it's better.
Back in there. So now we need to adjust the hose. You can see we got the hose up here, and it needs to go right back in there. So you just cut it with a box cutter and then attach that same fitting, this guy, to this end, and this should go right into the thing that starts it. So it just cuts with some box knife.
Cuts quite easily.
Is there a wire in there somewhere? All plastic.
All plastic. Excellent.
Careful.
Never cut towards yourself.
Safety first.
So that's how much we cut off.
Yikes!
For our installation. They give you a lot.
In case you're going to put it in an outside,
install it
like
out here or
yeah.
something. And
that one, yeah. Just
screw. The same screw-on method that we did on the other one.
Yeah, lefty tighty.
A little counterintuitive. Okay. So in theory, this should
hook right up like magic.
Right.
Let's test that theory out. Okay, so there's the hose. It loops up way up there, so we make sure there's no kinks in it. And there it fits in there. Voila! Now we just have to screw it into the wall. So we are gonna now attach it. We have marked some holes. You can see that black dot. That's one of the holes. And we're gonna drill a pilot hole with an 11/64 bit, which is just a little small because the wall we're going into is not. It's not exactly the sturdiest wall in the world, so we want to give it a lot of bite. Okay, so we had a problem. We went to drill in our pilot holes. This is the panel that was on there. This panel, you can see the pilot hole we started to drill through. And then it was really flimsy, so we took that panel off, and this is what's behind that panel. And here, you can kind of see that this screw would go through this panel and all the way through the next panel, which is right in our entryway, and so we do not want that. So we're rethinking this, and we're going to put that panel back up. We're thinking about putting it on the floor. So we now have it sitting on its side, and the plan is to screw it into the floor. So we took this panel off again, and here's what's under the floor. Kind of see back down there. And it's pretty much nothing. So we're feeling pretty good about not hitting anything. We don't want to get too close because that's our breaker box. So that would not be good. Okay, so again, drilled the pilot holes, and it is now secured. It fits. Yay! So we just need to tuck up these wires. We're gonna zip tie them up there. If we can find some zip ties, and we're done. We'll show you how it works.
Okay, so we did not have zip ties. However, we had some Velcro strips, and so I sort of neatened up these wires. So we have started our generator up, and
this is the end that goes in there.
We are going to attempt to use our vacuum for the first time. Waiting.
Oh.
Forgot to plug it back in.
I think we plugged it in.
Maybe.
Nope. Yeah, we did.
Uh-oh. Alright, so we're not sure what's going on here. Okay, so found the problem. Apparently with all of our fiddling around with stuff, we pulled one side of the low voltage switch wire out of the connector. So we are going to try to get that back in there firmly and quit messing with it so that it won't come undone.
Hey, here's an idea. Why don't we unplug it?
Hey, that's smart. Okay, so we fixed that issue, and now we're about to try this one more time.
Warning, loud sound, and there will be a loud sound this time because it's going to work. Yeah! Now let's clean up all this dirt. Oh,
Apparently it works well.
Okay, so this vacuum came with these accessories. A handy little bag to put all these accessories in. A power head rug rat, which is power kind of. It's just powered by the air. A little upholstery brush, they're calling a carpet brush, a little one of those guys, and a thing you use to get in the corner. It also came with 3 extra bags, which we were happy about.